Om Jana Timrandasya Shalakaya Chakramilitamyana Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gorda Chandraya Radhikaya Taladaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tada Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Divya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Laksha Shipta Chakamari Paranga Madhye Kripa Maitwam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanaravinda Vrinde Namaste Charanaravinda Govinda Damo Dharmaraveti Govinda Damo Dharmaraveti Govinda Damo Dharmaraveti Govinda Damo Dharmaraveti Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi, Govinda Damo Naramadaveti. Siyama Sundara Sikanda Sekara, Smarahasa Murali Manohara, Radhika Rasika Makripanide, Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru. Tavai Vasmi, Najivami Vina, Iti Vijnaya Devitwam, Nayamam Charanam Antikam. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Prem Savusanga Ki Jai. La comunidad de yogis. Amorosa Ki Jai, the loving community of yogis Ki Jai. And little yogis. Jai. Wait, Sabado Ki Jai. Okay. So we're going to talk about the three different bodies that we have. If you're in the course, it's on page 19. Va a ser en página 9 para los que están en el curso. Las que ya han estudiado con nosotras, pues vamos a tocar un tema que ya han visto, pero siempre es bonito repasar este tema. So, maybe I'm going to teach something that's a little bit it's not past tense or anything. También ya hay desayuno, si quieren bajar y comer.
Perfecto, vamos a comer, chicas.
I know, but I think you guys want to have like a fun time, and I've got to be really just quiet here, you know. I'm not teaching anything that interesting for littles. Haribol, Solange.
Haribol, maestra, buenos días.
Yes, qué gusto. Okay, so tenemos tres cuerpos diferentes. Es importante entender de esos tres cuerpos porque muchas veces en este mundo material pensamos que somos solamente este cuerpo físico. So it's important to understand that we have these three different bodies because here in the material world, a lot of times we think we're just this body, right? And we get attached to this body, this physical body. Entonces, el yoga enseña que tenemos tres cuerpos, incluyendo el primer cuerpo, que es el cuerpo físico. So this first body that we have is our physical body. Okay? Then we have our energetic body, and then our most subtle body, which is our spiritual body or our soul. So de ahí tenemos el cuerpo energético y al final tenemos el cuerpo espiritual, que es el alma. Anybody remember what are the qualities of the soul? ¿Alguien sabe qué son las cualidades del alma? Huh? Eternal.
Sat, Chit, Ananda.
And they've got it in Sanskrit because they've studied with us. Cuando estudiado con nosotros, yeah. Entonces, Sat, eternity, eternidad. Chit, consciousness. Chit es la conciencia ahí. Ananda is happiness, right? Es la felicidad. And so this is a happiness not dependent on external factors. Esa es una felicidad que no depende de los factores externos. But in this world that we live in, this material world, we're always going through sukha and dukkha. Siempre este mundo material estamos fluctuando entre sukha y dukkha. Does anybody know what is sukha and dukkha? ¿Alguien sabe qué es sukha and dukkha?
Sufferment.
Come on.
Sufferment is dukkha.
Suffering is dukkha. Sufrimiento es dukkha.
Y el otro es alegría, pero externa.
So then sukha will be this external happiness. Okay. We talked yesterday about stiram sukham asanam. What was that about? Hemos hablado de la cualidad de la postura de stiram sukham asanam. Anybody remember that? ¿Alguien se acuerda qué significa eso? Sanskrit. So stiram is stability, sukham is freedom, right? Is this like this happiness, this joy? Entonces stiram es estabilidad, and sukham es esa felicidad, esa como la energía más orgánica, ¿no? Entonces vemos eso también en lo que estamos estudiando. Ananda? I think Ananda joined. ¿Ese es Ananda de Francia? A ver, tenemos dos Anandas, pero creo que sí. Haribol. I think our French Ananda just arrived. Well, we're talking about Ananda. Estamos hablando de Ananda. Haribol! We have another French. There's our French coming in.
Yay! More French people.
The Europeans and the Peruvians. Qué gusto. Pero estás en Alemania, ¿no?
No, estamos en Croacia.
Están en Croacia.
Sí.
She's in Croatia right now. We just saw each other in India like a month ago. Qué gusto. So we have sukha, and sukha is this, okay, we're here and everything's fine because I got something that I wanted, right? So that's a temporal happiness. Sukha es esa felicidad que es temporal porque, bueno, conseguí algo que quería. ¿No? And then we have Ananda. Ananda is this happiness that is it's just always inside of us, but sometimes we can't feel it because it's covered. My hair is wet, so I'm getting cold. Acabé de lavarme el cabello, entonces me está entrando el frío. Entonces, Ananda es esa felicidad que es eterna, que no depende de los factores externos y siempre esa es nuestra esencia, pero Ananda muchas veces está atapada por las capas de este mundo externo. So a lot of times we have this happiness, but why do we get depressed? Why do we get anxious? Why do we not feel connected? Si ya tenemos ese Ananda dentro, ¿cómo es que podemos entrar en la ansiedad, sentirnos pues deprimidas, confundidas, perdidas, si tenemos ese Ananda dentro? Right? So how is it that we can get lost and separated from something that we have inside of us that is this soul quality? ¿Cómo podemos realmente perdernos de esta cualidad que es parte de nuestra esencia, es la esencia de nuestra alma, right? The thing is that we have a lot of layers here that are just part of being in this material world. It's just the elements that exist here. So we come here and right away it's going to be hard to connect. Llegamos aquí a este mundo material y va a ser difícil conectarnos porque parte de los elementos o las cualidades de este mundo material son las diferentes coberturas a nuestro cuerpo, a nuestro alma. So we have these layers. You can call them koshas. Koshas in Sanskrit are the different layers that are on top of our soul. Son las diferentes capas que tenemos encima de nuestra alma, los koshas. Okay. And so the soul descends from the spiritual realm into this material realm, and right away it acts as a magnet for these different elements, for these different layers. Okay. And that's just what's going to happen here. Entonces, al momento que el alma se desciende y llega a este mundo material, ya se funciona como una imán y empieza a atraer todos esos diferentes elementos que existen aquí. So the first thing that the soul takes on is the body, right? La primera cosa que el alma toma es ese cuerpo físico, el cuerpo. What is the body? What is the physical body composed of? ¿De qué está compuesto este cuerpo físico? You can see in the first little box, aquí en el primer.
De las emociones, maestra, del intelecto.
Sí, entonces eso ya tenemos el cuerpo físico, así que es hueso, es músculo, y de ahí tenemos el cuerpo que me gusta llamarlo el cuerpo energético, ¿no? Como el cuerpo sutil. Y ahí sí tenemos el intelecto, tenemos el ego. So Sulan has said we have our intellect, we have our emotions, we have our ego, right? So that we can put into the second box here, which is more of the subtle body, okay? But to begin with, we have the more dense body. Tenemos el cuerpo un poquito más burdo que está compuesto de los 5 elementos. So this dense body that we have, our physical body, that's just physical, it's just made of these 5 different elements, right? So water, fire, ether, earth, what did I say? Air and air. I always forget, yeah, air because I'm so airy. Siempre me olvido del aire porque soy tan de aire. Entonces, tierra, fuego, aire, agua, ether. Ether is like space. Ether es el espacio. Entonces, estudiamos eso mucho en Ayurveda porque todo el estudio de Ayurveda es eso. Es como los elementos que uno tiene adentro y los elementos que tenemos afuera y cómo armonizarnos con nuestros elementos internos y externos. So when we get to Ayurveda, we talk a lot about this. We talk about the whole science is based on seeing these 5 elements inside of us, outside of us, and how to align and harmonize those elements inside of us with the elements outside of us. Okay. So this is our dense body, and everything that's in our body, our skin, our bones, our blood, it's all made up of these elements. Okay. Just like everything we see outside of us in this material world is made up of those 5 elements as well. Right? Entonces, todos los huesos, la piel, todo lo que tenemos adentro está compuesto de esos 5 elementos en diferentes cantidades y también la naturaleza externa. So if we see a river, we would say it has a lot of which element?
Maestra, una pregunta.
Sí.
Pues en un ejemplo, yo no entiendo bien cómo está el éter dentro de mí, el éter.
Ya, el éter es como el espacio, entonces tenemos espacio entre cada célula, cada átomo también. Entonces el cuerpo realmente no es sólido, ¿ya? Siempre está en constantemente movimiento. Entonces, si estudiamos, por ejemplo, con un microscopio, nuestros átomos, vamos a ver que hay espacio entre los átomos. ¿Sí? ¿Se entiende?
Sí, se entiende. Muchas gracias, maestra.
So she's asking how to see ether inside of our body. And I said, well, the body actually isn't solid. So if you look at our cells with a microscope, you'll see the atom, there's space in between the atoms. Everything's moving. Nothing here is solid. We think it is. We feel it is, but it's not, right? That's why the body can regenerate itself every 7 years because it's constantly regenerating. Okay? Entonces el cuerpo se regenera cada 7 años. Entonces, ¿por qué podemos seguir con la misma enfermedad o mismo dolor en el cuerpo después de 7 años? how is it then that we can hold on to the same sickness for more, or the same pain in our body for more than 7 years? Any ideas? Ideas? If the whole body is constantly regenerating, si el cuerpo en sí está en constante regeneración. Yes. Check. Okay, es por el cuerpo energético, which acts as an energetic suit around our body. El cuerpo energético funciona como un traje energético alrededor de nuestro cuerpo. And in this energetic body, we have prana. Dentro de este cuerpo energético tenemos prana. Prana is vital force energy. It's what makes all of the systems in our body function well. Es lo que hace que todos los sistemas en nuestro cuerpo funcionen bien. But those who have studied the chakras understand that we also have these energetic centers, right, that are part of this subtle body. Tenemos los centros energéticos, que son parte del cuerpo energético, que se llaman los chakras, right? And so if something, let's say, is going on in my family, with my mother, my relationship with my mother, then I can have a physical imbalance going on maybe in the base of my pelvis or my legs or my knees or my ankles. Entonces, si tengo un desequilibrio con mi mamá, con mi familia, mis raíces, puede tener un malestar en mis piernas, mi rodilla, mis tobillos. We have a lot in this group with first chakra, interesting first chakra stuff, and going up as well. Going up as well. Tenemos muchos en este grupo aquí con cositas en sus rodillas, pies, el primer chakra. Okay, so in yoga, we see that the energetic body is completely connected with the physical body. It's like you have the energetic body and you're receiving this energetic emotional information, and then you have roots that go into your physical body. Okay, entonces aquí vemos en la filosofía de yoga que todo lo que estamos sintiendo, pensando, todas las emociones entran por acá. Y el cuerpo energético tiene raíces, y eso ya va a nuestro cuerpo físico. And then we'll end up with pain in a part of our body. Y vamos a terminar con dolor en una parte del cuerpo. Okay? How do we know this is true? ¿Cómo sabemos que eso es verdad? Let's say that you are afraid of cockroaches and you see a cockroach. What happens to your physical body? Entonces, para un ejemplo, ¿qué tal si tienes miedo de las cucarachas y ves una cucaracha? ¿Qué pasa con tu cuerpo físico? Tensión, reacciona, your heart might beat, ¿no? Latidos en el corazón. You might start to sweat, or fight, flight, or freeze, right? Your sympathetic nervous system takes over. Tu sistema simpático, nervioso, empieza a decir, hay que simplemente congelarse, huirse o pelear. Hay matas de cucaracha, Hare Krishna. O te vas así gritando, right? Or you just freeze. So you either just kill the cockroach, you don't even think about it, right? Or you run away, or you just get frozen. Okay. So can we all agree that the physical body does respond to our emotions? ¿Podemos todos ponernos de acuerdo que el cuerpo físico sí responde a nuestras emociones? Okay, we got some thumbs up here. Got thumbs up here too. Hey, okay. So then, understanding this, then it gives us the opportunity to take responsibility for the dis-ease, the discomfort in our body. Okay, eso ya nos invita a tomar responsabilidad para el desequilibrio o los malestares en nuestro cuerpo. But a lot of times, it's like we don't want to, because then we'd have to like really look into it, you know, and it's kind of sometimes it's not fun. A veces no es tan divertido mirar hacia adentro, ver qué está causando este dolor, and then how to look at this imbalance. I call it dis-ease because it's just like discomfort, right? How can we look into that in a very loving way and not a judgmental way, right? ¿Cómo podemos entrar en ver nuestros malestares en una forma amorosa? No como, ay, mira, estoy tan traumada y claro, tengo este dolor en mi cuerpo, right? It's not like, oh, I have so many traumas, so I have this pain in my body. I was reading this autobiography this guru in India, and she was bulimic her whole life. You know, she was sexually abused when she was a child by her dad. And she got to India and for the first time, she connected to the meditation. She met her guru. She was by the river Ganges, and she just, like, all of those layers of just trauma just were received by the Ganges, and it was just like it melted. These different layers of these impressions in her mind and her emotions were just released. And no problem. And from there, I mean, she became this like great guru, you know, like completely. Because they're just layers in our consciousness, right? They're just impressions. They're not us. Entonces, estoy dando el ejemplo de estar leyendo esta autobiografía de una gurú de la India y como sufrió de bulimia, su papá recibió abuso sexual de su papá cuando era niña y sufrió así, pagaba mucho con sus psicólogas toda la vida, ¿no? Ya fue en la India, conoció a su gurú, conocí el río Ganges y ya todas esas impresiones se desaparecieron. Porque eran impresiones, no era su alma. So these were impressions, they weren't her soul. Son capas nomás. These are just layers, right? So this philosophy of yoga is showing us that. It's saying the energetic body, which is the second body here, si ven el segundo cuerpo aquí, it has your mind, it has your intellect. Aquí el segundo cuerpo dice que es como mana kosha, right? So we have our, in the koshas, this would be like our mental body. You have your mind, you have your intellect, you have your subconscious and your ego, but that is not your true identity. Que tienes tu mente, tienes tu subconsciencia, tienes tu ego, pero eso no es tu identidad verdadera, right? These are just layers that are a part of us. Yes, as Chaitanya was saying yesterday, they're important to recognize, they're important to honor. It's important to know who you are this lifetime. Es muy importante saber quién eres esta vida. No es que simplemente, oh, eso no soy yo, entonces me desapego completamente a este cuerpo, esta mente, esta vida. So it's not like now this isn't me, so I just disconnect to who I am this lifetime. That's not the idea, okay? So we can go in and we recognize ourselves, but we don't attach to who we are this lifetime. Nos reconocemos, pero no nos apegamos a quienes seamos en esta vida. Okay, so it's important to know your skills. It's important to know your Dharma, like a greater purpose. Why are you here? It's importante saber tus habilidades, tu Dharma, por qué estás aquí. And we'll study a lot about that, get everybody even more clear, ¿no? En this course, en este curso siempre estamos acercando a las personas a tener más claridad en ese de qué es tu Dharma, right? And your Dharma, you have your Sanatana Dharma. Your Sanatana Dharma is just your spiritual duty here. Again, everybody has the same spiritual duty. Todos aquí tenemos el mismo deber espiritual, and that is getting to know who you are as a soul. Y eso es entenderte como alma, and what is your connection to something higher. Y qué es tu conexión a algo superior. That is the duty of everybody here. Ese es el deber de todos aquí, Sanatana Dharma. But a lot of times we forget because we have something called Maya that's covering our soul. Okay, and it's covering our vision as well. Maya is one of the elements, or really it's, I wouldn't call her an element. She's like a deity here in this world, and she does her job the best. Entonces Maya hace su trabajo lo mejor que todas las deidades en este mundo espiritual. So Mahamaya, great illusion. Maha is great, Maya is illusion. Maha is gran, Maya is illusion. So she makes us think we are this body. She makes us think that this body is eternal. Ella nos hace pensar que somos este cuerpo y que este cuerpo es eterno. Right? And this attachment, y este apego, she makes us think we are our mind. She makes us think we are our emotions. Ella nos hace pensar que nosotros somos nuestras emociones y nuestra mente. Lo opuesto, ¿no? Sí, es el opuesto. Pero ella vive aquí, en este mundo material. Entonces, es una divinidad que vive aquí, ¿ya? Entonces, aquí es como, ¿por qué hemos venido aquí? Es la pregunta, ¿no? Si es solamente para perdernos. ¿Y qué, no? Si podemos como almas simplemente quedarnos arriba en el mundo espiritual, de donde venimos. So why do we come here to this world where there's so much illusion when we could just stay in the spiritual realm where everything is just joy and connection, right? We were the rebellious souls. We were the souls that said, I want to experience my own individuality. Nosotros somos los almas rebeldes y dijimos, yo quiero experimentar mi propia individualidad. So here is the place where we can experiment that. Okay. But then we are spending our whole life looking for love, looking for clarity, looking for connection in all the wrong places. Entonces pasamos toda nuestra vida buscando el amor, buscando conexión, buscando claridad en todos los lugares equivocados. Okay? Because we're looking for it in everything that's temporal. Porque lo estamos buscando en todo lo que es temporal. Yeah? Those that know a little bit my story, there's students here that have been with me for a while. So los que ya conocen mi historia un poquito más, right? Like, I had always gone from one relationship to the other until I got on this path. Siempre yo estaba yendo de una relación a otro hasta que llegué a este camino. Because I have a big capacity for love. I have a big capacity for pleasure. Tengo una capacidad grande de placer, de amor, right? And so there can be material love and pleasure, and there can be spiritual love and pleasure. But if it's the same love and the same pleasure, right? It's just in different elements, okay? It's in different frequencies. Entonces, ese amor, ese placer es lo mismo, solamente en diferentes frecuencias. So when I took my brahmachari time, which is time of being celibate and just focusing all of your energy and your passion and your sexual energy towards something higher, okay, towards your study, towards your service. And so I took that time, and it was just like, it was so empowering. Entonces, cuando tomé mi brahmachari, mi tiempo de celibato, era me empoderó tanto porque pudo manejar toda esta energía, toda esta pasión, ese amor y hasta la energía sexual hacia mi estudio y mi servicio. At that time, I was just teaching, it was just like constant teaching, constant studying. It was awesome. It was just like, just go for it. Because that sexual energy and that passion can create a baby, but can also create a project. It's the same energy. It's creative force energy. Okay. Porque esa pasión y esa energía sexual puede crear un bebé o puede crear un proyecto. Es la misma energía. Yeah. And in that time, I had this big house in Cali, Colombia. And towards the end of that project, I was like, I either need to get a big farm, or this isn't my Dharma, because that was a lot of energy, everybody living together in one house, like 500-hour courses, all living in one house. And that was Sunday. By Thursday, the ashram that we have in Colombia manifested. Same energy. Okay. Entonces yo recibí un mensaje, era como después de 500 horas de curso, todos viviendo en esta casa en el agua, todos encima de todos, y dije, puede ser que eso no es mi Dharma, o tengo que encontrar una finca. Y ese era el domingo, y el jueves ya se manifestó la finca que tenemos en Cali, de Yogendra. Entonces es la misma energía, right? And so how to really disconnect us from these patterns that we come in with this lifetime, and also these patterns and habits that we accumulate this lifetime, right? So the different yoga practices will help us just get to this understanding. As we were saying, it's like separation, but separation in union. De todas las diferentes herramientas y prácticas que tenemos aquí en el camino de yoga nos ayuda a sentir esta unión en separación, ¿no? Es conciencia que tengo esos tres cuerpos, ¿no? Que no soy mi cuerpo físico, no soy mi cuerpo energético, no soy mi mente, no soy esta energía en mi cuerpo, right? So it allows us to see that I'm not this body. I'm not my mind. I'm not even the energy that's running through my body. I'm a soul. Okay. But then through this soul consciousness, it's like you go to a new city and you don't speak the language. You don't have your cell phone and you need to get to the toilet. let's say, and you can't communicate. So you go to the tallest building and you look down and you say, that's where the toilet is. That's where the ice cream is. That's where, that's where the yoga school is, right? So by doing these practices, you get this eagle eye vision. Entonces, como si estás visitando un país distinto, no hablas el idioma, no tienes tu celular y no te puedes comunicar. Entonces subes al edificio más alto y de ahí miras hacia abajo y dices, ahí es el baño, ahí es el yoga studio. Y ahí es como tener esa visión de águila mirando desde arriba hacia abajo. So a lot of this path, hola Natalie, Haribol. So a lot of this path it's trusting that the path will bring you there. Tener confianza que este camino te va a llevar ahí. And it will, but this is not the quick fix. Y te va a llevar ahí, pero ese no es el camino rápido. Nothing in yoga is quick. Nada en yoga es rápido. Unless, like, maybe when you first meet your guru or you get your initiation, you purify a lot in that moment and you receive your sukriti, which is your positive spiritual karma. So usually when you get an initiation or you meet your guru, it's like the first maybe a couple of months or years are like, whoa, you're on this spiritual high and you're like, oh my God. Okay. But after that, you still have to keep on doing your work. Okay. So nothing in this path is easy. It gives you so much, but it's not easy. Entonces está diciendo que nada en este camino es rápido. Puede ser el momento que conozcas a tu guru o tomas tu primer curso de yoga, recibes o tu iniciación recibes tu sukriti, que es tu karma espiritual. Entonces los primeros meses, años, muchas veces son como, wow, ese es el high más increíble. Pero después de eso tienes que seguir dando, tienes que seguir haciendo tus prácticas porque sigues teniendo que purificar. Okay, siempre hay mucho para purificar en este camino. So we have so much to purify in this path. It's really beautiful. In my experience, it's always, it's like night and day since I've gotten this path and my reality before and after. But it doesn't mean the work stops. Right? Yes, I've had amazingly blissful, magical moments. And in general, my life is like so much more blissful and magical than I could ever imagine. But I still have things to keep on working on. So that's why I wake up every morning with determination to meditate and to study and to serve. Okay? Entonces, claro, mi vida es como noche y día de cuando comencé, donde estoy ahora, y en general mi vida es mucho más mágico y bonito que podría imaginar, ¿no? Como ya estoy siempre aquí, pero no significa que no tengo que hacer mi trabajo y seguir purificando, y por eso me despierto todos los días con esta determinación, hacer mi meditación, mi estudio y mi servicio. Any questions or comments? Preguntas, comentarios?
Why does it need to be slow? And why are there no quick and easy answers?
Yeah.
I had this conversation or this discussion the other day with someone who is like here in Peru, we're so much into this plant medicine,
Yes,
right?
yes.
For many people. And this person was very skeptical about it and saying, yeah, there are no quick answers, and it's for people who are lazy, who go for, I don't know, ayahuasca and want a quick answer. And I don't have like a fixed answer or believe in it about it, but I felt like I need to push again.
Yeah.
And I was, but I also feel like, sometimes I also like quick answers and easy answers.
Yeah.
So what's the point in it?
So you will still get a lot of clarity and it will feel fast, but there's so much depth that's waiting for us that it can be faster, like you'll still feel like these wake ups, and it'll be enough that it'll be fast enough for you. You won't be like, oh my God, it's so slow. In general, you'll be like, oh, thank you, but we have hundreds of lifetimes to purify to get back to the source. So really, in like what you can purify in one life is quite quick once you get on your path. you know, in comparison to the thousands of or hundreds of years that your soul has been here. Yeah. And I have a lot of friends, like my friends here in PSAC are all medicine women, really, or music. Madhavi doesn't do medicine, but she does musical medicine. So, you know, everybody's always doing transformative processes here. Like this is the community we're in. And I asked them because I don't, you know, I like really yoga is my path, and I'm really just high chanting and talking about this with you. Like I see medicine ever. I don't need to take something internally for me at this point in my life. I know what my path is. I'm really clear. But I talking to my friends about it, you know, who are medicine women, and they're just like, yeah, like there needs to be some sort of integration afterwards too, even with the medicine. You know, people might feel they got the answers, but it goes away really quickly if you don't integrate it with some sort of deeper practice and daily practice. So they'll even say that. So we have in this world so many tools to help us integrate and wake up, and even therapy, you know, and depending on the soul's journey, you might encounter different tools, right? And that can be medicine, that can be astrology. You know, I'm always reading people's charts, you know, to help them have that same clarity, right? But the clarity even of that won't stay too long if they don't have a daily practice. You know, it can just be like a quick message. You know, how long does that stay? How can we really purify? We need to make an effort. But the effort we take one step, and the divine comes towards us with 100 steps. We're really doing quite little for the amount of information and bliss that we'll have receiving, that we'll receive. Okay, I'm going to translate it. Yeah. Okay. Entonces la pregunta era, entonces como hay mucha medicina acá en el valle, ella está en una conversación con una persona que está diciendo que la ayahuasca y todo eso para las personas flojas, ¿no? Entonces yo expliqué que la mayoría de mis amigas aquí en el Valle Sagrado son mujeres medicina, ¿no? Entonces hemos hablado de este punto y dicen, claro, la medicina te ayuda a ver algo, pero necesitas algo de integración después y prácticas diarias para realmente vivir esa información que acabas de recibir. Entonces, ¿y por qué es tan lento el proceso de despertar en yoga? Pues hemos vivido tantas vidas que realmente lo que uno puede avanzar en una vida no es tan lento, porque puedes purificar cientos de vidas en una sola vida, en unos años, ¿no? Pero claro, requiere una constancia, requiere un esfuerzo por tu lado, pero tú das un paso hacia la divinidad y la divinidad te acerca con 100 pasos. Entonces, es lento, pero no es tan lento. No es que en un momento, pero realmente lo que uno recibe todos los días sientes que es una bendición y entras con mucha gratitud. So even if it feels like it's not just like in one instant you're there, every day you do feel gratitude for what you're receiving and for that clarity and that love. Mm-hmm. Any other questions, preguntas?
Mm-hmm. And we discussed the topic yesterday evening about this purpose. You know, in my belief or in my understanding, is that I had some different purpose till now, last 34 years or so. And as a child or in poverty, your brain and everything is completely different to an adult person, right? So to find out what's my purpose in this lifetime, in this body, could it change? I mean, maybe with 40 or 50, I'm on a completely different path, or not completely different, but I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more connected with myself.
Are you sure?
I really hope. I invest a lot in myself, right?
Uh-huh.
So can the purpose also change?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have different purpose?
Mm-hmm. Entonces, sí, los propósitos en la vida se pueden cambiar. So there are so many different types of purposes. Yeah, so the first one I said was a spiritual purpose, right? Tenemos muchos diferentes dharmas o propósitos. El primero es nuestro propósito espiritual, okay? Then our identities are constantly changing. Nuestras identidades se están cambiando constantemente. So, you know, at one point you were a daughter and you had lived that identity, and that was like a big identity, right? Cuando éramos niñas era, bueno, somos hijas y era una identidad grande, right? And then maybe you got your career, you know, your professional certificate, whatever. De ahí tenía tu certificado profesional. Now I am what did you study?
Geography.
Yeah. So I geographer, she said. I'm a geographer. What is it? Environmental engineer. Right. And you're like, I'm an environmental engineer, right? And then you're like, oh, but now that's shifting, right? So that's constantly changing. And, you know, we're daughters, and then I'm a mother, and then our parents go, no, somos hijas, de ahí se van nuestras mamás, right? I could be a partner, then my husband goes to Lima, and I'm like, right now I'm just me. Or our partners, we separate, right? Entonces, somos parejas, y a veces se nos van la pareja a Lima, o nos separamos, right? That's the reality here, right? So all of those temporal identifiers, even if it's for 10 years, 20 years, it's still temporal and it can change. Entonces, hasta esas identificaciones que pueden durar 5 años, 10 años, 20 años, 50 años, todavía son temporales y se pueden cambiar. Claro. So that part of our identity, our career can be so expansive, so fluctuating. No, nuestra carrera se puede fluctuar tanto, right? And that's beautiful to give us a space for that. Es importante darnos ese espacio and also feel like we've never wasted time. That's important as well. Like where we've been, what we've studied, that's just part of it all. That's part of us this lifetime. Todo lo que hemos experimentado, lo que hemos estudiado, es parte de lo que somos nosotros, right? Chaitanya the other day, he's like, oh, all that money you wasted studying anthropology. And I was like, no, he was, and, but I'm like, you know, all I do every day is cultural anthropology, you know, even though I spend a lot of money in private university in the United States studying cultural anthropology and literature. Like it was all perfect. It's all a part. And like who you meet, you know, in those environments. And it's not just what am I studying, right? It's all, there's so much involved in that being just exactly what needed to happen. ¿No? Y todo el dinero que gasté estudiando antropología en una universidad privada en los Estados Unidos, ¿no? Pero era parte de mis conexiones, mi crecimiento, todo lo que tenía que estudiar y entender en mi vida.
Porque en todo ese camino que uno viene, de hijo, estudio, matrimonio, hijos, trabajo, ¿no? Yo particularmente siempre he sentido que me falta algo. Sí, he tratado de ser agradecida.
Porque es temporal. Entonces hay que atar el corazón a Dios. Porque nada aquí nos va a dar esa felicidad eterna, constante, nada. Pero el mundo te quiere como hacer creer que sí. Pero no, esa es una ilusión. Entonces uno lo vive y entrega, pero eso no puede ser el centro de nuestra realidad. Dios siempre tiene que ser si te falta algo. Y siempre vamos a sentirnos no satisfechas, siempre. En todo. Hasta que tienes el buen esposo, los buenos hijos, buena educación. Si tienes buen karma, todavía no te vas a sentir satisfecha.
Muy fácil. Siento que he venido a algo
Sí,
más.
sí,
No sé.
por eso has venido aquí. So what happens? She's like, so what happens if you have the good karma, you know, the good husband, the good life, the money, the good education, the good kids, you know, like things happen, but pretty much you have things here. So why can you still feel like something's missing? And that's what's going to happen here. We'll never be satisfied here. We'll never be satisfied here. 100%. You can be grateful and you can be like, wow, thank you. But if you don't have that divinity in the center, it's going to feel in moments empty.
Yeah.
It's a hard concept to even get to, you know, until you kind of start feeling and getting there. Then you're like, oh, thank God. You know, because it does feel, as I said the other day, like your soul is in your heart and you have this string and it's connected to something higher. And you're just like who's going to be with you on your deathbed, you know, the divine in whatever form, you know? So that's why we start experimenting, what is that form? How can I celebrate that connection every day? Entonces, ¿quién va a estar contigo en ese momento de dejar tu cuerpo? La divinidad, no tu dinero, no bueno, tus familiares puede ser que están cerca, ¿no? Pero es tu alma que tenemos en el corazón con la divinidad. Entonces, hasta esa idea de tener un hilo de tu corazón conectado con el divino es súper difícil de entender hasta que lo experimentes. Y requiere mucha confianza, ¿no? Mucha entrega. It requires a lot of trust and a lot of surrender. And for Westerners, with a Western mind, that's really hard to do. Y para los occidentales, con la mente occidental, es muy difícil alcanzar eso, right? But what's great is if you have a good mind, then you can study this information, and that will bring you closer to surrendering as well. Like we come through consciousness. Entonces, con esta mente occidental, podemos llegar a esta conciencia divina a través de usar nuestra mente super wow, estudiando para alcanzar más esa conciencia. Sí.
Dices como que tenemos diferentes dharmas, pero nuestro dharma principal es espiritual. En mi caso, por ejemplo, es como, yo soy una persona súper indecisa siempre. Y, o sea, he pasado, como decía, ¿no? Diferentes etapas. O sea, como de hija, estudiar una cosa, me he dedicado a trabajar en otra. Y como que no encuentro qué es lo que quiero hacer, pero que en esta realidad a veces nosotros, como para vivir, necesitamos dinero. O sea, en el sentido de que financiar, o sea, necesitamos ingresos financieramente de qué vivir como para poder seguir realizando cosas. Entonces, en mi caso es como que a veces se me hace, o sea, es como que llegué a un punto, varias veces llegué a un punto, o sea, quiero hacer algo que en realidad como que me llene, o sea, como que me sienta tranquila, me sienta feliz, pero igualmente pueda vivir de eso. Entonces, en un punto yo miraba como la cocina, pero después llegó un punto donde, uy, no, ya no quiero saber nada de la cocina. Y cuando empecé a estudiar mi carrera, era igual, ¿no? O sea, como que, bueno, yo creo que me puedo dedicar a esto. Terminé la carrera y empecé a trabajar en eso y veía varias cosas y era como, hoy no, esto no me hace feliz y lo dejé. Entonces no sé qué tan bueno o malo es empezar cosas y dejar de soltarlas.
Sí, está bien. Para tu diseño humano es perfecto. Entonces, no, está bien porque tú siempre vas a estar como cambiando y esa es tu forma de ser. Entonces, ¿quién soy ahora? Es la pregunta, ¿no? ¿Qué me hace sentir satisfecha en este momento? Y eso va a ser cambiante, ¿ok? Eso ya es la parte como humana, así material, ¿no? Ya la parte de espiritual, voy a traducir y después te contesto. So she's asking, like, what about money and how about making money? And like, she's always changing jobs and her Dharma is spiritual, but she has to make money, but then she's doing one job and then she doesn't want to do it anymore. And so she thought she's going to be the chef, but she doesn't want to do that anymore, right? I said for her, human design is totally fine. She just has to find satisfaction. Okay, siempre busca tu satisfacción y siempre vas a tener éxito y vas a tener dinero. O lo suficiente. A veces, bienestar, uno piensa que uno necesita dinero para tener lo que uno necesita, pero puedes tener una experiencia, como no es el dinero, es tener lo que uno necesite. Yeah. So I'm saying that sometimes it's not actually money, it's just that you just need to be able to have what you need. And sometimes, so we think it's money, but sometimes you just put yourself in service and you have what you need without, it's not like money has to transfer through hands. Yeah. A veces te pones en servicio y ni el dinero tiene que pasar por las manos. Como no es dinero, es vivir lo que quieres vivir y lo que te hace sentir satisfecha. So a lot of times it's living what we, in the level that we want to be living in and have what we need to be satisfied. So I have my resident card for Peru and so I can take the local train to Machu Picchu, which is $5. instead of the $100 as a foreigner, right? And so do I need to make $95 to go to Peru, to Machu Picchu? No. It just is coming through me, that it's part of my path to bring people. Sometimes I bring people to Machu Picchu, like they come and do yoga and then we go to Machu Picchu. So it's like it doesn't have to be money. Yeah. Like the circumstances don't always, you don't always have to have the trade of money. Entonces estoy dando el ejemplo de yo tengo mi residencia de Perú, entonces yo puedo tomar el tren local, que es chistoso verme en el tren local, realmente. Y no a Machu Picchu, que cuesta $5 en vez de $100 para los extranjeros. Entonces yo necesito $95 más para ir a Machu Picchu. No. Entonces no tiene que ver un intercambio de dinero. Entonces es parte de mi Dharma, me fluye para ir a Machu Picchu. Bueno, voy, ¿no? Y muchas veces llevo los tours de las personas que vienen aquí a hacer yoga y ya vamos a Machu Picchu. Es parte como de los tours que hago, right? So do I have to go kill myself to make $95 because I want to go to Machu Picchu? No, right? So it's not always money. Tengo que matarme haciendo un trabajo que no quiero hacer para ir a Machu Picchu. No. Siempre te va a fluir las oportunidades que son para ti. Always the opportunities are for you will flow. Okay. Now there's another layer to this. Always. When you dedicate yourself to spirituality and service, it's like I'm thinking in Spanish now. You are watering the roots of the tree. When you dedicate yourself to service and your spirituality, you are watering the roots of the tree. En el momento que te dediques a tu camino espiritual y tu servicio espiritual, estás regando las raíces del árbol. And the fruits on the trees are karma. Y las frutas en el árbol son tu buen karma. But in this material world, we're always watering the fruit on the tree. En este mundo material estamos regando la fruta en el árbol, thinking we'll get more fruit, pensando que vamos a tener más fruta. That's not how karma works. Eso no es como funciona karma. If you wake up and meditate, and chanting is service. Chanting is purifying karma. Chanting is your service to the Supreme. You do that, you'll get fruits on your tree. But what do we do? Turn on our phone, start working. How do I market this? How do I move this on Instagram? How do I get another job? We miss the opportunity to really water the roots. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Yo me despierto, prendo mi celular, ¿cómo voy a hacer marketing de tal curso? ¿Cómo me muevo? ¿Cómo consigo el trabajo? ¿No? Y estamos regando los frutos. Entonces, despertándote, cantando el yapa, los mantras, el kirtan, eso es servicio divino. Eso va a purificar karma. Con eso vas a siempre recibir las frutas o los frutos de tus acciones. But then how to chant, how to do service without being focused on getting the fruit. That's karma yoga. That's what yogis do. They just serve, they just act without thinking about what they're going to get as the result. Los yogis sirven y actúan sin pensar en que van a ser los resultados. Okay? So that's your attitude behind everything. Eso es tu actitud detrás de todo. I remember when I met Chaitanya, he's like, if Krishna wants us to stop teaching yoga, we'll just do something else. And at that time I was like the traveling yoga teacher, like yoga was my identity. Yoga teacher was like my identity, and how many thousands of dollars into my courses. And it was like, and he was just like, and I was like, entonces cuando conocí a Chaitanya dijo, si Krishna quiere que no enseñemos más yoga, vamos a hacer otra cosa. Yo estás con mis 30 años súper pegada a mi carrera como la profe internacional de yoga, ¿no? Y mis miles de dólares en mis profesorados de yoga para ser buen profe de yoga. But that's it. It's like trusting, confiando, right? Even in this course, we had like 3 of you signed up. And we were like, well, if that's what Krishna wants, sure. I guess these souls are really special that are, coming. And like, even if one person shows up, we're like, okay, it's not like we need to market to get 20 people here. It's like this, we'll do the best that we can in our marketing. If people come to help us with our marketing, it's like what flows. We don't kill ourselves, to make money, right? It's like, let's trust. But at the same time, we're in action, but it's disinterested action. Entonces, justo para este curso, había 3 personas que están ingresadas en este curso hasta, ahora son 5, en los últimos 2 días llegaron las chicas, 2 chicas más, pero no estamos como nos tenemos que matar para hacer buen marketing, para que 20 personas vengan para ganar dinero, ¿no? Es como lo que va a fluir y si viene gente para ayudarnos con marketing, si fluye, lo que fluya, ese ya es el plan divino, ¿ya? Lo que fluya. We never sell our soul to the devil to make things work. You know, it will, it's like you think it will, at the end, it just won't work. Okay. Nunca vendemos nuestro alma al diablo para que funcionen las cosas, ¿no? Haces eso y vas a tener los resultados malos al final de eso, ¿no? Pero si tú buscas desde un lugar así puro, quiero servir, quiero hacer algo que realmente va a cambiar ese mundo, siempre vas a tener lo que necesites. Lo que necesites. If you dedicate from your heart, I'm going to serve humanity, right? From my heart in a pure way, you'll always have what you need. It might not be what the hugest everything, and it might. Who knows? But you'll have what you need to serve. Puede ser que no tengas así la casota, el carro, pero vas a tener lo necesario y vas a estar mejor que bien, and you'll be better than just okay, and you'll feel satisfied. Y te vas a sentir satisfecha. Okay. Yes, it's already almost 9:30. So last question, última pregunta.
And it's also a personal question, and it goes into the direction what Tanya was saying, Tatiana, but yeah, so for me, but my situation is a bit different because I wouldn't say I have perfect job, I have kids, I have perfect husband.
No, that's okay. That's very rare. She has really good, that type of karma.
But for me, my focus point was my job the last few years, and especially my relationship with my boyfriend.
Yep.
And not knowing if we're in a relationship since 12 years, and I'm not sure if I should continue with that relationship or not. And so since 2 years or more, I'm doubting. I'm trying to find out. I try different things. I thought like probably it's my connection with myself that is not strong enough, or whatever. That was so far a bit also my answer, that probably I need to strengthen my own relationship with my own. And now when you're talking about, you could have all of this and it's probably
but
God.
it might not be for you.
Yeah, so how do
Yeah.
I know?
So we have to get, then we go to astrology because we can see it all. So we all come in with like a certain like predestined things.
Yeah.
They can change a little, but we have free will. But in general, it's like, and not everybody's coming in to have the same experience. That would be so boring. Not boring, kind of like. No todos aquí venimos con el mismo destino. Right? Eso vemos en astrología. But we all come in with something, and we all lack something. Todos venimos con algo y también todos nos hace falta algo. So you'll see somebody that has, it looks like the cookie cutter perfect, but then there's some things, they still have challenges, or they might have the husband, but they don't have money. Or they have money, but they don't have the husband, right? O tiene el esposo, pero no tiene plata. O tienen plata, pero no tiene el esposo. Todos venimos así, okay? Nobody comes with everything perfect, because then we wouldn't grow. We wouldn't be in this evolutionary process. Sin venir con esas cosas difíciles de la vida. Bueno, hemos venido con desafíos para poder evolucionar. So what is the goal of the soul? Is to evolve, right? So you'll come in with that exact package for you to evolve. Vas a venir con este paquete perfecto para evolucionarse. And never think that everybody has it all together. It's nobody has it. Everybody's just doing what you're doing, trying to figure it out. But some have more clarity. Yeah. Entonces, no asumir de que nadie lo tiene así organizado. No todos estamos en lo mismo, pero algunos tienen más claridad. Like if you look, if we really ask her story, It hasn't just been, it's not just this perfect picture. Okay. Si te preguntamos, tu historia no es así, todo así, el cuadro bonito. No, 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 no. Even, you know, you, Chaitanya, my lives, I can't even believe like I look like I have just like a nice husband and like these ashrams and kids. Like, what came before all that? Craziness, you know, but it can look a certain way. But we're growing, we're all growing. And I'm so grateful for what's happened to me, you know, every day of my life, but those difficult moments before I got into this path, because that's because of all that, that's why I hold on so firmly to the path that I'm in, and in so much gratitude, you know, because my life wasn't just like get married, have kids, and like run action, you know, like I wouldn't be able to sit here and be like, oh, we all suffer if my life had been easy. So we don't only appreciate our path and our process, we love our process. Okay, entonces no es que debemos estar aquí despreciando nuestro proceso, sino amando nuestro proceso. We can go deeper into should you not. What's your, well, we'll get there to the other stuff that give us tools to understand ourselves and where we are in this moment in our life. Okay, entonces vamos a estudiar cómo tomar esas decisiones y entender dónde estamos en la vida. Okay, namaste. Jai Shri Gurudeva Tunanda Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Gracias. Sao Sangha Prem ki jai. Thank you, everyone. Let's have some breakfast. Haribo, saludos. Besitos, nos vemos pronto. Ay,